Welcome to my INT project presentation for the end of the semester. My issue of global importance is the global refugee crisis, and I chose this issue because it's not something I knew a whole lot about before this semester, and I wanted to expand my horizons. Let's define the refugee. So the refugee is someone who has credible belief that they are going to be persecuted in their country of origin due to religious beliefs, political leanings, nationality, and more. One of the biggest contributors to the global refugee crisis is Syria, with over 6 million refugees being taken in worldwide, Syrian refugees. And to go ahead and put the number of displaced people into context, there are about 26 million refugees displaced today, and the population of Australia is about 24.9 million. So let's go ahead and go on to the cultural aspects of the refugee crisis. When I was thinking cultural, I thought media. So in today's world, media is super prevalent, and I feel like the majority of people get their information from media. Western media portrays refugees in a negative light, often talking about them with words such as swarming and flooding in order to make them seem less than human. An example of this is Australian media's actual use of swarming and flooding in their newspapers. Another aspect of the cultural Another cultural aspect of the refugee crisis includes assimilation and acculturation. Assimilation involves the complete adoption of refugees into a host country's culture, while acculturation is the adoption of the main aspects of a host country's culture, but still remembering the culture of origin that a refugee came from. So let's go ahead and move on to the economic aspects of the refugee crisis. A lot of times when refugees flee, they don't really have anything besides the clothes on their back. But one way that refugees finance their travel is by keeping cash on them. Female refugees store cash underneath their clothes, close to their bodies. And there are also phases of escape that refugees employ. Typically, the male figure will leave the family behind in order to try and secure a job in the host country they intend to go to in order to have some kind of stability. The majority of these jobs are in the informal sector and are often under the table. And a long-term benefit of refugees being adopted into the economy of a host country is that aging workforces need able-bodied people like refugees to help out. So let's go ahead and move on to political aspects of the global refugee crisis. While states' obligations towards refugees are outlined in the 1951 Convention on Refugees, states do have the ability to dictate individual domestic and international or foreign policies regarding the crisis. We see the U.S. domestic policy is super xenophobic and anti-immigrant, while U.S. foreign policy is also very isolationist. The Trump administration contrasts with the Obama administration, as Obama worked to work with refugees and help them, while the Trump administration does not want them whatsoever. While inclusive policies are ethically and morally wonderful, they also can have unintentionally bad effects on the natural-born citizens of a country by fostering an animosity towards refugees by these citizens. Anyway, we come to concluding remarks. To conclude, I really enjoyed learning about the refugee crisis, and I really think that it helped expand my global competency. And I really thought about ways in which I could try and help. And in Lexington and Louisville, there exist these organizations like Kentucky Refugee Ministries, as well as Global Lex, that actually cater towards the local refugee community that needs help, just working their way into American culture and help them succeed. So I think I might try and look into those. And before this video ends, I'll go ahead and show you my works cited for everything I talked about, as well. And here are the citations for the picture I used in today's presentation. Thank you so much for listening, and have a good day.